What's up everyone? Welcome back to my channel. We're doing a little Q&A and I'm smiling because I haven't felt inspired on YouTube in so long. I honestly think it's been like 6 months or something like that, maybe actually longer than that. It's been a while. I think it's been since last summer and it's finally coming back and I'm really happy because YouTube has always been my first love. Yes, I love TikTok, but honestly, a good YouTube video to play in the background while you're working, while you're eating, while you're like washing your face at night, while you're on the treadmill, it hits different than scrolling for hours on TikTok watching people you don't know. Let me know. Where and how do you watch YouTube? I'm feeling very happy and I'm happy to be sitting down and chatting with you. So I have felt more connected with you guys lately. I don't know if you can tell on social media, but on Instagram, other places, like I just feel like myself again. Like, I don't know, it's coming back and I'm just really happy. Anyways, if you can tell, great, let me know. I asked you guys to ask me questions on Instagram. So thank you for asking me questions. So I'm just going to go through all of them. I haven't looked at any of them before recording this video, so we are just going to jump right in. But before that, I did want to thank today's sponsor, which is Squarespace. If you guys don't know, Squarespace is the easiest way to build a website. So whether you are building an online brand, an online store, portfolio, restaurant, like literally whatever it is, you need to check out Squarespace because it is the easiest way to build such a beautiful website. And the websites are beautiful. If I do say so myself, I have built multiple websites before and I think they all look pretty good. Like, I don't know, I think they look like a professional did it, and it's really easy. So they have beautiful templates to choose from, but the best part is it's customizable because I don't want to look like a basic website that everyone else has. I want to have my own flair to it, and Squarespace is the most customizable website builder. And if you don't believe me, you can try it out yourself. You can do a free trial by going to squarespace.com/NatalieBarbu, and then you can get 10% off your first purchase once you actually fall in love with it, and you can use my code NatalieBarbu at checkout. So thank you, Squarespace, for sponsoring today's video. All right, let's get into the questions, shall we? Okay, we're gonna start at the top. I don't know if Instagram like orders these in any particular way because I don't think it's in, maybe it is in chronological order, but oh, okay, let's start with a tough one. What is your biggest fear? So I actually don't know. I don't like think about my biggest fear often. It's not like I'm like, oh my god, that is my biggest fear. Like I could say, oh, I'm really scared of heights or I'm scared of spiders or whatever, but like those don't think are my biggest fear. Truthfully, I think my biggest fear is someone close to me dying, and I know that's probably a lot of people's biggest fear, but I am very blessed, very lucky, like to not have anyone in my family pass away. Like I have both sets of grandparents, I have my family, I have friends, my boyfriend, like I haven't experienced death really, and so I would say that that is my biggest fear because whenever I see people that, you know, go through something with like a family member passing, I'm always like, oh my god, like it literally makes me cry like on the spot when I hear about things like that because I just can't imagine that ever happening, and I feel like I'm gonna cry talking about it too, but I don't know how I would handle it. I don't know, I would just feel so sad. It's just, that's like my biggest fear, and I feel like, oh, as I've gotten older, I've become so much more of a worrier. Like I feel like I'm gonna be such like a worried mother when I have kids one day because I definitely think like I am always so cautious and scared of like so many things. Like I'll hear these like news stories, or like I'll think about like my little brother like driving even though he's literally 19, or I'll think, I don't know, I just like always get very scared, and I think that that is a fear of mine, and I've become a very like worrisome person because of it, which is definitely not healthy. But yeah, I would say that is my biggest fear. Okay, and then the next question is advice for taking risks. So I don't think of myself as like a risk taker, but I would say that I jump headfirst into things, which I do think can be risky, and I guess are characteristics of probably a risk taker. So I'm not like the adrenaline risk taker, but I think I'm like a business risk taker, if you will. And I would say my advice for it is not to overthink things, and I need to say that this is coming from a place where I'm incredibly privileged, where I don't have kids or a husband or people that I'm taking care of. Like I really only have to take care of myself, so I completely understand that my situation is different, my finances are different, so I'm coming from like my perspective, but I always think about it in the sense of I'm not going to overthink this because the worst that can happen is not that bad. It obviously depends on what you're doing. If you know you're banking your entire life savings on the line, then yeah, think about it a little more. But if it's just something that, oh no, you might fail, or you might not, you know, be as successful as you thought, or like this might not go the way that you planned, I just jump headfirst into things like that because I don't like to overthink, and I'm not an overthinker, and I really just like, when I set my mind to something, I just do it and I go for it, and I don't think too much about what could go wrong. I'm just like diving headfirst. So for me, I would say don't think about what could go wrong all the time. I just think a lot of times we overthink things in our minds, and then we don't take that risk when the reward could be so much greater than that risk that you did take. So that would be my advice for that. Any advice on when you feel sad at work, like when you feel like you're destined for something else? This is something that I think 95% of people in our generation think about, is how we aren't fulfilled at our jobs. And I do think that a lot of times we force fulfillment in what we're doing in life and in our careers, which I don't necessarily think is a good thing, because I think that you can have a job that, you know, you're fine at, you like, it's just fine, it pays the bills, but then you find fulfillment in so many other places. But I do think with this culture of especially working from home and like never being off and like being available at all times, we tie our identity to what we do, myself included. I think that I have such a problem with tying my identity to my career, and I definitely need to work on that this year. But I would say that when you do feel sad at work, you feel like you're destined to do something else, what you are doing right now does not need to be where you end up, and what you are doing right now can always change. You can always pivot, you can always change directions. But I will say you're not going to change directions and pivot just by sitting there and, you know, feeling unfulfilled. I think there needs to be a lot of self-discovery, there needs to be a lot of action as well, which I think a lot of people might be great at the self-discovery part but not as great at the action. So if you are wanting to change your circumstances, you do have the power in certain situations to change them, like a job, for example, which is what we're talking in. I do believe that you can make the effort to apply to different jobs, try to see if there's other career options for you, but then also knowing that you might not get to your dream job right away, but you're kind of figuring out what you want to do and discovering yourself, as cheesy as that sounds, in the process. So I do think that when you are feeling like very unfulfilled at work, try to find fulfillment in other areas of your life, but also take the action to make that change, because especially in a job, change can definitely happen and you do have the power to change that. Okay, I got a lot of questions about Miami food and drinks recs, and I feel like I'm the worst like host or the worst person to ask for this because I don't ever write things down. So I'm going to try to actually like sit down and write a list of things that I recommend and things that I like, and kind of have a list of things, because I honestly like, I have some favorite restaurants. Like I think when you come to Miami, you have to eat Cuban food. It's like my all-time favorite food. I love Peruvian food. Ceviche 105 is like my favorite restaurant in Miami. Coffee wise, I honestly haven't found a coffee shop that I'm like obsessed with here. So if you guys know any, let me know. I know Panther Coffee is everywhere, but honestly it's not really like my favorite place. I love Pura Vida. I feel like that's a very common one for like lunch food. I don't know, I need to come up with a list, and if you want, follow me on Instagram because I'll post it on there. What have you been prioritizing that you haven't been prioritizing before? It's actually a really good question that I actually have to think about, but I think I'm going to say I've been prioritizing YouTube and like connecting with you guys, that not that I haven't done before, but that I have been missing for the past few months. I've been so heads down on Rella that I've just forgotten to connect, and all I've been doing is talking about Rella and working and entrepreneurship, and I have a lot of other parts to me that I want to share, and I think that's why a lot of you found my channel, not because of my entrepreneurial journey, but because of literally everything else. And so I feel like I'm now prioritizing that. Like this past like 2 weeks, I'm like, no, I'm not gonna niche down. Whoever gave the advice to niche down sucks, not gonna happen. I'm going to post whatever I want. I'm going to be happy posting whatever I want, and I'm going to connect with you guys more. And so I feel like I've been doing that lately, and before, for the past few months to a year, I feel like that's just been like totally neglected. I just have to share this question because it makes me laugh. I'm going to Miami in April. Any advice in fighting or staying clear of alligators? Miami's not like the Wild West where there's just like alligators everywhere and you have to like stay clear of them. So I think you're good. I don't know what you mean by fighting, but I think you're good. When did I have my first boyfriend? I was a senior in high school when I had my first boyfriend, and we broke up freshman year of college. And I have a theory, and if you are still in high school, don't hate me for this. I don't think I have high school viewers, but if you are, sorry. I have a theory that high school relationships, like if you are two seniors and you go to college together and you go to separate schools, it is not going to work. Like there is like a 99% chance that it's just not going to work, because if you're two seniors that go to school, if you guys are different ages, like if one's a senior and then one's like a freshman in college, and like you just went to school, or if one's a senior and one's a junior, so only one of you is going to school, then it might work. But if you are two people going to college, going to separate schools, in relationships, even if the schools are very close in distance, I just don't think it's gonna work. I don't know if I'm like a negative person saying that, but I do not think it's gonna work. Like, I think it's just doomed, because you are two 18-year-olds that are going to school, that are experiencing so many new people and so many new activities, and like you're for the first time without your parents, and oh my, there's parties and there's alcohol, and then even if you don't drink, like it's just like a whole new experience, and I think it's just not gonna work. So let me know if you are someone that went from seniors in high school to separate colleges and you are still dating, and this is a big and, you never broke up. You have to have never broken up. It has to be like consistently dating, because maybe some people reunite in the future. Never broke up. Comment down below, because I don't think you guys exist. I could be wrong. I know I'm wrong, but that's my theory. Do you ever struggle with body image? Yes, I think that it's impossible to not struggle with body image. I will not say that I have ever had an ED, or I've never had, body dysmorphia or anything like that. Like, that is not something I've ever struggled with. Very, very thankful that I haven't struggled with that. But I definitely have struggled with body image in the sense that, oh, if I'm eating something that's like unhealthy and I get bloated, I feel so fat, or I feel so gross, and blah, blah. Like, those are the thoughts that run through my head. I'm not saying those are good thoughts, or like they're not. They're actually very bad thoughts, but that's what I think. And I'll like look in the mirror and I'll like lift up my shirt and I'll kind of like see how I look, or like if I'm wearing a bathing suit and I'm going to the beach, sometimes I'm like, well, I need to go in the morning before I, have a big meal, because I want to look skinny, and that's just so unhealthy. And so I've really, really, really tried to get past that mindset and focus more about how I feel, and that not everything needs to look good in a photo for me to be pretty and beautiful and happy with myself, because I feel like a lot of times I'll take a picture and I won't like the way I look, or I'll try something on and it's like too small on me, and then I'll get really self-conscious, and that's just like really, really toxic and can spiral quickly. So I will say that it's something that I've been trying to work on, and overall I think that I have a positive body image, but there are a lot of times, especially with bathing suits in particular and tight dresses, that I feel incredibly, incredibly, incredibly self-conscious, and I will like not wear something because of that, or I'll like not take a picture because of it, and I just think that that can be really unhealthy sometimes. What are your thoughts of the current and future generations of entrepreneurs? I definitely think there are more and more entrepreneurs every single year because of technology. The internet makes it so easy to start a company, to start a business, to do whatever you want on the internet, and so I think it's really exciting. And I think that it's exciting because more entrepreneurs are sharing their story. I hope that my videos inspire some people, just like people that I was watching before I started Rella have inspired me. So I'm very excited for the next generation of entrepreneurs. I think a lot of people in the next generation, they get a lot of slack. Like, it's like, oh, like Gen Z and millennials are so lazy. I actually think that's like so not true. I think that a lot of millennials and Gen Z are so hardworking, and it's a work smarter, not harder type of mentality. But at the same time, a lot of us are working smarter and we're working harder. And I just think that it's exciting to see like everything that's going to come out. And I do think that there is like a really strong work ethic in these like two generations. How much did you personally invest in your startup? I invested around $50,000 into Rella, and I don't regret that at all. I think it's awesome, and I'm hoping that the money that I invested personally into it definitely helps it grow. And I know that it's keeping the lights on, it's helping it grow, and I am just so happy that I was able to put money into what I'm working on in my dream. And I also think if you're someone that is raising money and you have the means to put some money down into it, it also shows like investors and others like you believe in it so much. Like, I don't just want to build Rella by asking other people for money. I want to build it because I truly believe in it and invest into it myself. So I'm not working for a salary right now until we finish our raise. And yeah, I invested personally around that much money, and I definitely do not regret it. And I'm very happy to see it grow and kind of to see the potential in the future in it. And this is gonna be a shameless plug. Download Rella if you are a content creator and start planning your content on there. We just released the desktop version, so there's a lot of new features coming. The new earnings feature that we're releasing is gonna be so freaking good. So definitely download it below. How do you make friends as an adult who isn't in the physical workspace? This is so hard, but I'm going to say you need to put yourself out there, and you need to be bold and just ask people to grab coffee or go to lunch with you, because that is the way that you are going to meet people. I met people through asking my friends, hey, do you know anyone that lives in Miami? And then thankfully one of my friends did, and I literally texted the girl. I got her number from my friend and I said, hi, you don't know me, sorry if this is random, but want to get coffee because I just moved here. And that was one of the ways I did it. And then she was like, oh, I know another girl that I think you would like. And then I made friends with her, and then she knew someone that I would like. So all of my friends that I made here in Miami actually were not through social media. It was all through, hey, do you know someone that might want to be friends? And it can be very awkward, especially the first time meeting, because it's like, so hi, it's kind of like you're going on a first date. But I think that's the best way to do it. You have to be bold, you have to put yourself out there, and of course social media is another huge one. If there's someone that you follow that lives in your city, DM them, ask them to grab coffee. The worst that they can do is either say no, which I doubt that they would do, or they just don't respond. So just put yourself out there. And this video is getting a little long. Those are all the questions I'm going to be answering. Thank you so much for asking me questions on Instagram. Definitely follow me so that you can make sure that you don't miss any of the other Q&As. I also do Q&As on Instagram as well. I try to do them like every other week just to, you know, connect with you guys a little more. But yeah, thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. Bye guys.